I'm a little bit torn because there's two sides to this. On one side, I'm completely sold and brainwashed by their marketing and their voodoo magic, and I'm just completely suckered into their whole ecosystem, and part of me just wants to buy everything that they've got, and part of me is really excited about everything they've announced on the latest keynote. On the other side, I'm kind of thinking about it from a more logical standpoint, and I'm a bit more 50-50. There's some really cool features, there's some really good announcements, and there's other stuff that's a little bit nah. So Monday morning, evening, 6 o'clock here in the UK, Tim Cook comes out doing his whole good morning thing.
Good morning. Good morning.
And then he said that there was going to be 6 big announcements, 6 things that they wanted to talk about. First up, there was the update to the TV OS, and there was the update to WatchOS 4. So Apple TV, they announced that they were going to have Amazon Video available to stream on the new OS. That was the only real announcement for TV OS. That was the main thing from that. So I'm just gonna gloss over that because it wasn't that big a deal. Like for me personally, I don't have one, and it wasn't a big update. So I'm just gonna gloss over that. Then there was the Apple Watch, the WatchOS 4. Now I've got mine on now. I love my Apple Watch. I wear it all the time. I use it all the time. I love it, and I actually look forward and take note of the new WatchOS updates, and I look out for key features that I get excited about it. And there was some interesting features announced. They've updated activity. They've made it a few updates to the activity stuff. Changed some of the animations and the move goals, and it will do more to sort of motivate you and try and get you more active and things like that. And they really try and push that, which is cool. And they've made it quicker to access the workout app as well, which is cool. I use mine when I go for a run or I go playing football or whatever, and to do it at a tap and to have improvements to activity and workout. That's cool. That will help. I will use that. The interesting thing there as well is they've partnered up with a lot of gym equipment. They mentioned it in the States. I don't know if it was going to be in the UK or not, but they've partnered up with loads of gym equipment so that you'll be able to, when you go to the gym, be able to get Bluetooth up to the equipment in the gym and feed it through your Apple Watch and get a lot more sort of accurate information for when you're working out. That'll be cool. I don't know if it was in the UK or not. It might have just been in the States, but that's a cool thing. Other than that, there was some new watch faces, the Siri watch face, the Kaleidoscope, which actually looks really nice. I like the look of that one. The Toy Story ones, yeah, cool. Kids are like them. It's like the Mickey Mouse. The Mickey Mouse is fun. I don't use it. I wouldn't have it as my watch face, but it's okay. Other than that, there wasn't that much, and I wasn't expecting much from WatchOS really. It would have just been nice if they'd have come with some new, but just something to make me sit up and go, "Ooh, I like that," and just a bit of a surprise. Then it was macOS, which is getting an update from macOS Sierra, which was a really good update, to macOS High Sierra. And Craig made a bit of a joke about it, but yeah, that's the name, High Sierra. Okay, yeah. Maybe not the greatest name ever, but that's what they're calling it. So, sure. Got new features. They've got a new filing system across the board for all your files. It's going to probably be in line with the Files app that's coming to iOS, which was also mentioned. They've upgraded everything to Metal 2 for GPU and graphics performance. The big one for me as a videographer and as a content creator, video content creator, they've upgraded the codecs from 264 to 265. So it's now going to be H.265 as opposed to 264, which according to Apple has a 40% smaller compression rate, so the file sizes will be 40% smaller. That will be good, because obviously the more and more videos that everyone's creating now with YouTube and Facebook and all this video content being created, the file sizes are going way up, so it'll be nice to have a new codec, and that's getting built right into Final Cut Pro, which I use for all my editing. Nice move, Apple. That's a good one. Bringing VR to the Mac as well, which is very, very cool, and it'll be great for developers. But it's not something that I will get use out of. There's a few other minor updates to the apps. The Photos app got an update. There's more editing options in the photos. They've got a split view for mail. Safari is getting quite an upgrade, and they're now claiming it's going to be the fastest browser, like of all the browsers. It's going to be the fastest browser. Remains to be seen. But what they did say about Safari is it's getting autoplay video blocker, so it won't, when you go onto a site, it won't start automatically playing videos, which are really annoying, and that'd be great. I will have that turned on. And the intelligent tracking prevention thing, so that when you go on Amazon and you're looking at something or you're browsing for a product, you're just shopping on Amazon, and then the next thing you go back into Facebook and it's Instagram and it's advertised everywhere and you can't escape it, and you just looked at one thing on Amazon and you see it then for weeks to come all over your social. They're going to block that if you turn it on, which is cool for a consumer. Might piss off some companies that are trying to advertise this stuff. Then they actually updated the hardware of the iMacs and made them all the standard configurations out the box better. They boosted all the processors, they switched everything to i7, and then they dropped the iMac Pro. It looks like an absolute beast. The horsepower they've packed into this thing is insane. It can have up to 18 cores. 18. The RAM goes up to about 128 gig. Pretty impressive. Full workstation class computer that you can have in your home. I think it looks nice. I like the space grey. Again, not something that they really spoke about the new iMac Pro, but the I/O is they've put like up to 4 Thunderbolt 3 ports in, but they kind of glossed over the fact that they've kept the SD slot, which is a positive step, because obviously the MacBook Pro, when they announced that with the Touch Bar last year, they got rid of all that stuff, and that really annoyed a lot of Pro users, and it was really annoying. So interestingly, on this one, they've left the SD card slot, and you've got a good load of options for I/O, which should keep everybody happy. However, you're going to be paying $5,000 for it, $5,000. I mean, and they kind of said that it would cost you at least sort of $7,000 to build a comparably spec'd computer yourself. But I don't know. Are we really? I mean, I don't know if I buy that. You could probably build something just as good for $3,000-4,000. But you know, Apple stuff's not cheap, and it will be. It looks like an absolute beast, and I'm sure it'll just, you know, for a pro user using Final Cut or anything like that, it'll more than handle all of that. I'm sure it's still a hefty price tag. For $5,000 is still a lot of money. However, I still really, really want one. Apple marketing. Then came iOS 11. So with the iPhone being like their flagship device these days, iOS, this was always going to be a big announcement. This was always going to be one of the main things that they announced on the day. This is where I'm a little bit torn, because I'm going to start with the updates for iPhone. Make person-to-person payments through Apple Pay right in messages. So you can literally just send someone money in a message, use your thumbprint. Using Touch ID, you can send someone 20 quid over messages through Apple Pay. That's interesting. Things like updates to the photos and the camera, Live photos in particular got some interesting updates, so you can add effects to live photos. You can change the actual still from the 6-second little snippet of video. You can choose which frame you want to be the main one. You can change your live photo so the loop, or you can do like a boomerangy Instagram boomerang kind of effect where they bounce back and forth. So a couple of updates there. The App Store's got a refresh, so it looks more like Apple Music now. And when they updated the Apple Music interface last time, they changed the design. I didn't really like it that much. I preferred the original Apple Music design, but they updated it, and I'm used to it now. So they're now doing the App Store and redesigning that, and it looks more like Apple Music does, and so they're a bit more consistent, which it's fine. It looks good. And they added things like speed limits and showing what lane you should be in on maps, which is long overdue. Obviously, again, Siri's had better updates. This machine learning thing again, they've updated Siri a little bit. They've changed the voices, they've updated the voices. There's a new male and female version, and Siri can now translate things into other languages for you, things like that. But on the whole, it wasn't a massive overhaul like it could have been. Going from iOS 10 to 11, and he said we're turning it up to 11, and they could have used that in the brand, and it was a real chance to completely overhaul the iOS. I was expecting maybe like a new design. The design overall looks a bit more cleaner and brighter, more colourful, but there wasn't a massive new design like there could have been. I'm not saying I wanted one, I was expecting one, but it would have been that upgrading from 10 to 11 might have been an opportunity to do that. However, they did change the design on Control Center, so this actually looks quite neat now. I like it. I think it looks good. It's rather than having Control Center across two things where you have to slide across them, it's all in one. It's incorporated Force Touch, so you can access more options there. So it looks like you're going to be able to have more choice of settings in Control Center, and I like the new sliders. It looks like a nice design, and they could have redesigned more of the operating system like that, but it looks pretty good. So there was plenty of updates to keep people happy, but nothing major. It didn't feel like there was any major update to the new iOS for iPhone, that is. iOS 11 for iPad, on the other hand, completely different story. They've it's finally looking like the iPad might actually be a device to replace your computer. For the average user, for most consumers, with the new updates and the new features that they've added, it looks like it could now replace. It looks viable, like it could replace your computer, your laptop. They announced that new Files app, the new dock as well, which looks ace, and it's going to aid in multitasking. You can just swipe your dock up from the bottom of the screen from any app you're in and just switch between apps. You've got much more access to your apps in the dock. Split screen multitasking, split view thing has improved. Drag and drop, which has been long overdue for ages. They've added that. Craig did a demo of it, and you can select multiple things at once to drag and drop, and they've really taken advantage of the multi-touch. That's cool. The Apple Pencil, you can now instantly mark up documents. You can go straight into notes and scribble on them. You can mark up PDFs really easily. It just happened really intuitively, and that from the demo that looked really good. Included a scanner now in Notes so that you can scan documents, and then overall it just looks like it's all come together to become more of a laptop computer replacement, and it looks like a more viable option now as replacing your laptop for a tablet. And then they've added to that with the release of the new iPads, and they've announced new iPad Pros and released a 10.5 inch version to replace the old 9 point whatever version. The new display, the new 10.5 inch display, is 20% bigger. It fills the actual tablet more. There's less space in either side of the screen is bigger on the device and it fills the space more. It's a 20% bigger screen. And the big news is the 120 Hz refresh rate, which what they're saying is that when you're scrolling or you're pinching or you're doing any kind of movement with the multi-touch or the pencil, it's a lot more responsive. It's the buttery smooth, I think was the word he used, and it's supposed to be a lot more responsive. I mean, 120 Hz is like mega, and if it lives up to what they're saying, that should make a real difference, and it should really be noticed compared to 60 Hz, what it used to be. So this update I really want. Last thing they announced was the HOMEPOD, and this was probably the most rumoured thing going into the event. You know, everyone was expecting them to announce some kind of smart Siri speaker, which they have done. They've called it the HOMEPOD, which I actually quite like the name. The design looks really nice. They've got it in the space grey and the white. It looks really nice. $350 price point, which is about expected, and it looks good. It looks cool. I'm looking forward to sort of seeing more about them as we get nearer to them being released. They're coming in December supposedly. So yeah, overall there's been some pretty exciting stuff. Like I say, I was slightly underwhelmed with the watchOS, iOS 11 for iPhone, but then for iPad it's a mega update. With the new coupled with the new iPad Pros, with that 120 Hz refresh rate on the display, looks amazing. macOS High Sierra, not major updates, but a lot more sort of in terms of aiding the hardware, and they've really upped the level of power that they packed into the machines. And then there was that big announcement of the iMac Pro, which looks like an absolute beast. It was a lot better than the last keynote where they announced the MacBook Pro with the touch bar. I think that was a bit of a disappointment for a lot of Pro users. So I've enjoyed this keynote more. There's been more going on, more announced, more things to get excited about. All in all, pretty good job, Apple. You know, who am I kidding? I'm still going to want to buy everything. They're Apple. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or you want to discuss your thoughts, then please drop me a comment. I'll make sure I get back to every single one of those. And if you like this video, then please hit like and make sure you subscribe for more content like this. Bye.